In 1964, young prodigy Frank travels to the New York World's Fair to compete in an inventor's contest. Although Judge Nix is initially impressed by Frank's prototype jetpack, his opinion quickly shifts when Frank admits that the device isn't fully operational. While Athena, Nix's assistant, shows genuine kindness toward Frank, Nix insists that he cannot enter the contest until his invention actually works. Crushed by rejection and haunted by his father's constant criticisms of wasting time, Frank is about to leave when Athena discreetly approaches him. She hands him an orange lapel pin bearing a blue T and signals him to follow her and Nix without drawing attention. As Nix and his entourage join a lengthy queue for a popular attraction, Frank slips around the side and boards an empty boat. During the ride, a laser scans Frank's pin and triggers a hidden trapdoor that sends the boat down a dark corridor. Emerging into a futuristic wagon, Frank eagerly steps aboard. However, the moment he enters, metal blinds slam shut and the wagon lurches violently. Frank tumbles to the floor and can only rise when the shaking subsides. When the doors finally open, Frank finds himself on a fog-shrouded platform. His astonishment deepens when he spots a flying car overhead carrying Athena and Nix. As he pursues them, giant robots suddenly materialize and block his path. In the ensuing chaos, Frank dodges swinging robotic arms but loses his footing, falling to a lower level and breaking his jet pack. A friendly robot appears and promptly repairs it before returning it to him. Guards close in, forcing Frank to quickly strap on his fixed jet pack and take flight. Soaring through the fog, Frank soon discovers he has arrived in Tomorrowland, a dazzling futuristic city brimming with the brightest minds. He lands beside Athena, seizing the chance to demonstrate that his jet pack now works. While Nix dismisses his efforts, Athena gently takes his hand, offering him a glimpse of the promising future that awaits. Fast forward to 2015, teenage Casey covertly infiltrates a NASA launch site in Florida to sabotage demolition machinery. She fears that her father, a NASA engineer, will lose his job if the demolition goes ahead. Unbeknownst to Casey, Athena watches from the shadows. After Casey returns home, Athena uses a portable scanner to capture Casey's DNA from her bike helmet, encoding it into her final Tomorrowland pin. The following morning, Casey's father, Eddie, receives a call explaining the incident. Although Casey believes she has saved his job, Eddie warns that replacement equipment will soon arrive. Despite his concerns, Casey insists that hope is paramount. That very evening, when Casey attempts another act of sabotage, the police catch her and she is arrested. Later, after bail is posted, Casey returns home to find the mysterious pin among her belongings. Each time she touches it, she is whisked away into vivid visions of another world, a huge, distant city, but the effect is fleeting. During one encounter, while gripping the pin tightly, she briefly steps into this alternate realm only to have it slip from her grasp. Determined, she uses a gum wrapper to retrieve it just as her father comes to collect her. On the ride home, after a scolding from Eddie, Casey convinces him to test the pin. When he touches it, nothing happens, but as soon as Casey does, she is transported to that other world, making it clear that the pin's magic works only for her. Later that night, Casey sneaks the pin back from Eddie's nightstand. As soon as she holds it, she reappears in the alternate realm. Yet when she tries to move toward the city, obstacles force her back, waking Eddie. Realizing she needs a quieter place, Casey ventures into an open field where, upon touching the pin again, she finally lands in Tomorrowland. On a train journey deeper into the futuristic city, she discovers that the pin features a countdown timer, and that she is invisible to others. Exiting the train at the next stop, she follows a group of scientists onto another wagon, only to be suddenly enveloped by water as the timer nears zero. Battling through the deluge, Tomorrowland vanishes, and she finds herself stranded in a swamp. Back at home, Casey rouses her brother Nate and asks for the password to their dad's computer. Together, they search online and stumble upon an advertisement from a store that buys these mysterious pins. Casey scribbles down the shop's address and convinces Nate to tell their father she is off camping with friends. The next morning, when Athena arrives at their home, Nate reluctantly gives the camping excuse away. Sensing his lie, Athena pressures him into confessing. Meanwhile, Casey reaches the store, where eccentric clerks, intrigued by her pin, confirm its authenticity. They explain that Tomorrowland is a sanctuary for the world's brightest minds, a place free from governmental constraints and greed, and that the pin is the sole key. Demanding to know its origin, the clerks become aggressive when Casey refuses to share details. They lock the door and reveal futuristic plasma weapons. Casey attempts to hide among the merchandise, but the clerks corner her. Suddenly, a grenade crashes through the window, encasing the clerks in a force field. An armed Athena arrives, explaining that the grenade is a time bomb with a short fuse, and helps free Casey. Unfortunately, this inadvertently deactivates the bomb, allowing the clerks to break free and counterattack. Athena engages them in hand-to-hand combat while Casey hurls merchandise. In a shocking twist, when Athena removes one of the clerks' heads, Casey realizes that both clerks are animatronics. After Athena announces that the animatronics are about to self-destruct, she drags Casey out just in time as the shop explodes. Outside, Athena breaks a car window to usher Casey into the vehicle, using a special tool to jump-start it. As they speed away, Casey prays for answers, and Athena reveals that she was the one who gave her the pin. Before she can elaborate, Athena briefly malfunctions, revealing her true animatronic nature, then quickly repairs herself. Startled, Casey jumps from the car. As Athena steps onto the road in pursuit, a truck collides with her. The driver rushes over, giving Casey a chance to commandeer the truck. Yet, Athena quickly recovers and, with agility, leaps through the window to seize the keys and secure the vehicle. After a brief chase and heated exchange, Athena manages to quiet Casey by explaining that she is now her final pin, and that they must hurry to Tomorrowland because something has been built that shouldn't have been. Meanwhile, the police arrive at the ruined store, discovering a burned robot head. Before they can investigate, a man named Dave, identifying himself as a Secret Service agent, appears. After examining the robot head, Dave draws a futuristic weapon, eliminates the officers, and orders his team to report back to Nix. With this new threat looming, the girls decide to journey to New York in search of Frank, the only person who can help them return to Tomorrowland. When Casey inquires about other individuals with pins, Athena remains silent and then powers down unexpectedly. The following morning, after reactivating, Athena takes control of the vehicle so that Casey can rest. Athena explains that their next destination is Frank's place. Once Casey drifts off, Athena reminisces about the cherished times she once shared with her friend. Hours later, Casey is jolted awake when she is abruptly pushed from the truck in front of a countryside house. With Athena already driving away, Casey must approach the house alone. Chased by a guard dog, which she soon discovers is merely a hologram, Casey knocks on the door and shows her pin to a camera, pleading to be taken to Tomorrowland. A sudden gust of wind forces her back, and an older Frank appears at the doorway, demanding to know Athena's whereabouts. Infuriated by her absence, Frank orders Casey to leave, declaring that Tomorrowland is nothing but a deceptive mirage. He then retreats inside and locks the door. Refusing to be turned away, Casey lingers in the rain until she devises a plan. She ignites a nearby plowing truck, luring Frank out. While he is distracted extinguishing the flames, Casey slips inside and secures the door behind her. When Frank later tries to force his way in, Casey uses a burst of wind to push him back. As she explores the interior, she discovers an array of eccentric inventions. In one room, a machine plays a recording of young Frank trying to make Athena laugh, only for Athena to chide him. In another, a series of screens display current news alongside a slowly decreasing timer. Suddenly, a hidden door under the stairs swings open, and Frank reappears, ready to evict her. However, Casey persuades him to offer answers. Frank reveals that he was banished from Tomorrowland for creating something forbidden, namely, the timer connected to those screens. He teases Casey about whether she'd like to know her own death date, cautioning that knowing it might cause it to come true. This unnerving discussion causes the timer's percentage to drop, leaving Frank both impressed and disturbed. Their conversation is cut short by the arrival of Dave and his agents, revealed to be robots pursuing Casey. Quickly, Frank activates metal blinds to shield them, and when one robot forces its way in, he electrocutes it with a specialized tool. An electrical trap on the wall dispatches another, and Frank causes two more robots to fall through a hidden trap door. Frank and Casey dash into the living room, where they confront another waiting robot. Engaging in a fierce hand-to-hand battle, Frank fights the machine while Casey aids by seizing a unique portal device and entrapping the robot inside it. They ascend as more robots succumb to various traps. Eventually, Dave catches up, holding Frank at gunpoint. In a burst of bravery, Casey grabs a bat and subdues Dave. Escaping into the bathroom, Frank drags Casey into a bathtub that he transforms into a high-speed capsule. As a final robot chases them, Frank launches the tub, sending it hurtling onto a lake. The duo swims to shore and ventures into the woods, where Frank reveals a hidden bike that, unfortunately, won't start. Their respite is short-lived when a bright light approaches. It is Athena, coming to rescue them. The trio climbs into a truck, but once on the road, tensions flare between Frank and Athena. It is revealed that all the pins were meant to be destroyed, yet Athena escaped with the last box of 12, determined to continue recruiting brilliant minds. Frank, furious that more youth have been ensnared, accuses Athena of lying about her shutdown, claiming her silence is nothing but intentional neglect. Hurt but silent, Athena drives them to a local station where Frank has installed a secret network linked to his home. There, another capsule awaits. Once suited with protective gear, they activate the system and are teleported away. When they reappear, Casey finds them atop the Eiffel Tower. A guard stands nearby, but Frank produces a small invention that allows Casey to gently knock him out. Inside, the group enters an exhibit dedicated to legendary inventors. Frank explains that icons like Eiffel, Verne, Tesla, and Edison were the pioneers behind Tomorrowland, having used the Eiffel Tower as an antenna to access another world. Rumors had long whispered of a secret entrance, and after some searching, Frank activates it. The tower splits open to reveal a hidden rocket. The trio hurries inside as more robots arrive in an attempt to capture them. The rocket's powerful thrust pushes the machines away, and after a brief flight, it opens a portal as it descends. Moments later, they land back in Tomorrowland, though authorities are now in pursuit. In a desperate bid to avoid capture, Frank instructs Athena to conceal a special bomb within her body. They are soon intercepted by Nix, the Tomorrowland governor, who intends to arrest them. However, Frank and Athena quickly sway him by explaining that Casey managed to lower the percentage on the screens. Shocked, Nix escorts them to a secure headquarters where Frank's dangerous invention, the tachyon machine, is kept. Riding the elevator, Casey is confronted by holographic flashes of the future generated by the machine's superluminal particles. Inside its core, Frank teaches Casey how to manipulate the device, granting her the ability to view any moment in human history. Stunned, Casey sees a vision of herself at home just a few mornings ago. Frank explains that the machine can also peer into the future. In rapid succession, Casey reviews historical events until she is confronted with the grim prediction: in 58 days, the world is destined to end. Confounded by Earth's silence, she demands an explanation. Nix, indifferent, explains that Earth's demise is inevitable, but Tomorrowland will remain untouched. He forbids Earthlings from entering, fearing they will repeat the mistakes made on their own world. Unwilling to accept this bleak fate, Casey's defiance causes the machine's screen to flicker, hinting at an alternate, brighter future. Frank argues that this vision suggests hope, but before they can delve further, Nix knocks everyone out. When Frank regains consciousness, Athena informs him that they are to be deported again. Casey, despondent that their struggle may have been for nothing, lashes out. Amid her outburst, she suddenly realizes that Frank has been illicitly receiving the machine's signal at his home, and that the signal has been implanting ideas of doom into people's minds across Earth. Understanding that this self-fulfilling prophecy can be reversed with hope, Casey argues that disabling the signal might let people see the light again. Just then, guards arrive to forcibly expel the trio from Tomorrowland via a portal. Casey pleads with Nix to shut down the machine, but he coldly retorts that no off button exists. His calm rationale convinces Frank that Nix has been deliberately seeding doomsday ideas into the public's consciousness. Nix explains that past warnings about catastrophe were ignored, so he took matters into his own hands, only for humanity to resign itself to fate. Frank feigns acceptance, shaking Nix's hand while secretly restarting the machine's platform. As the confrontation escalates, Athena and Casey incapacitate the guards while Frank battles Nix, who deploys 2 robots to pursue the girls. Frank instructs Athena to detonate the bomb he provided, but as she attempts it, the robot sees her. In a swift move, Athena passes the bomb to Casey and fends off the machines. Casey races to the platform, which begins to move erratically as Frank and Nix wrestle over the controlling bracelet. Athena commandeers one robot, using it to force the other through the portal, redirecting its attack onto Nix. Casey manages to activate the bomb after catching a flash of the future, but just as she prepares to hurl it, Nix reasserts control over the bracelet and drags the platform downward. In a desperate effort, Athena dashes to catch the platform with her robot before rushing to the control panel to close the portal, destroying the second robot and leaving Frank and Nix stranded outside. At that critical moment, Casey finds the bomb, now on the verge of detonating. With no other option, Athena reopens the portal, and once Frank and Nix re-enter, they throw the bomb into it so that the explosion occurs safely away from them. The portal shatters and collapses onto Nix, ensnaring him, but not before he grabs a nearby gun in a last-ditch attempt to kill Frank. Recognizing a flash of a possible future and seeing Frank in mortal danger, Athena rushes forward to shield him. Casey then wrests the gun away from Nix. As Frank attempts to whisk Athena away for repairs, she insists there isn't enough time, she must deliver one final, vital message before she dies. In her final moments, Athena plays recordings that capture memories of happier times. She recounts how young Frank once harbored a crush on her and, despite the hurt he felt upon discovering her true nature as a machine, she cherished those moments. Hearing this, Frank finds solace knowing that Athena's faith in him never waned. With a bittersweet farewell, Athena's body begins to self-destruct. Determined to honor her last wish, Frank uses his jet pack to lift her upward and, after exchanging heartfelt goodbyes, releases her into the heart of the tachyon machine. The entire structure explodes, and debris falls upon Nix, ending his reign. With Tomorrowland's power disrupted, Frank struggles to control his jet pack as he makes a rough landing in a river. Casey rushes to his side, and as they deliberate their next move, flashes of the future spark a plan. First, Frank repairs the portal so that Casey can reunite with her family. Then, united in hope, they set out to reboot the PIN program, assembling new robots in Athena's image. These robots will travel through portals around the world, leaving pins for brilliant minds destined to build